Okay, my pleasure. Let's see if this thing is working. All right. Good evening, everyone. So let me start off. We have a number of recognitions we'd like to talk about this evening. And let me just, before we get started, we have three very important people I'd like to serve as the people who's going to introduce them. One, Ms. Dana Perez, we'd like to recognize this evening for Middle School Assistant Principal of the Year. Please don't stand up yet or do anything. The next group we would like to recognize, and that is Jill Russell Benner on behalf of all of our music teachers with another music education award that she's going to talk about shortly. And then, of course, the Voice for Change Award. And we're going to ask Mr. Dan Donovan to help us recognize the teacher and many students who have been awarded by not only the Commission of Education, but also the students of Connecticut. And then Dr. Casimiro, I'm going to ask to recognize Jill Russell. So if we can start with our wonderful principal in her own right, Dr. Christy Toledo, and to come up and, girls, would you mind switching place with Dr. Toledo and Ms. Perez? Thank you so much. And so, Dr.
Make
Toledo,
sure we're different outfits. We come here a lot. Gotta keep the rotation fresh. So oftentimes, assistant principals go unrecognized for the myriad of ways in which they support not only the principal, but also the teachers, students, and staff in the building. Earlier this year, I was thrilled to be able to nominate Ms. Perez, and was over the moon when I heard that she had been selected to represent throughout the entire state of Connecticut, the middle level, as Assistant Principal of the Year. When I was filling out the nomination application packet, I was asked to reflect on the ways in which Dana helped influence and shape aspects of the school. With respect to our school's culture and the manner by which she fosters well-being and safety, so students and adults learn and interact productively, I shared how she was instrumental in helping us transition the building toward a more restorative approach to discipline that plagued the school prior to our starting as the administrative team 4 years ago. She had experience in training in Positive Behavioral Interventions and Support, or PBIS, and together we attended restorative practices training in the summer. We worked to develop a year-long professional development plan for the school, and to this day continue to build the capacity of our staff and align our work and decisions to support this approach. Utilizing her previous training, she also began a school climate transformation group that met to discuss our school-wide information system, SWIS, the discipline referral data, along with our student and staff surveys. She facilitated the group's development of our building-wide expectations, and in an effort to address the disparities that existed in our discipline practices, this work, prior to COVID closure, we dramatically decreased the number of students being suspended, improved the manner in which teachers reacted to situations with students, and received positive feedback from parents and the community for the changes. We are going to get back to that someday, and I think we all are working towards that once we get out of this current situation. When reflecting on how data embeds the needs of the needs of each student as a guiding value to inform organizational decision-making, I shared how Ms. Perez works closely with me to compile a team of administrators from both the building and the district levels to complete a deep dive into our English language students' language proficiency data. She also, as the primary evaluator for our ESL bilingual teachers, conducted observations of teaching practices and found that many were slowing the pace down, not asking higher-order thinking questions. These observations, along with the use of primary teacher-led instruction, supported her hypothesis that teachers weren't holding the students to high levels of expectation. She presented her findings and then took the lead on working with the department head and teachers to reimagine our new arrivals program to be more inclusive. She also helped to coordinate additional sign-up and help training for ESL and core area teachers through our Title I funds last year, so they could better meet the needs of all of our students in their classrooms. Her insight and passion for doing what is right for all students were invaluable in making the needed changes to the program. And as a side note, her dissertation work at Fordham is focusing on ESL work. When asked then to reflect on how data leads the learning in our schools so that each learner, student and adult, will succeed in a globally competitive society, I shared how Ms. Perez never stops learning, reflecting, or pushing herself outside of her comfort zone in order to continuously improve. She shares this knowledge freely and inspires others to do the same. I read 4 books over the break because she didn't get a chance to read them yet, but she thought I should read them. One way she has put this into action at the building level is through our creation of instructional leadership teams. Multiple teams were created to look at math, ELA, ELL, and school climate. By doing so, we were able to involve more teachers in the process. Prior to COVID closures, she created a comprehensive year-long plan to have coverage for teachers to not only look at data, but also to discuss effective teaching practices, do peer observation, look at student work, and work as a team to develop our school improvement plan. With a focus on determining the problems of practice, developing plans to address them, and supporting teachers as key members of these teams, she helped build the capacity of both teachers and students. When asked then to reflect upon how Dana has empowered students and adults in our school community to assume leadership roles to promote each person's learning and well-being, I shared how she has played a primary role in empowering students to use their voices to advocate for themselves and take active roles in their education at Rogers Park. She compiled a group of students called the Student Ambassadors that act as our student liaisons with administration and panelists for various events. They're even holding training for our teachers in May. She facilitated a welcoming walkthrough prior to the ones we're doing right now, 4 years ago, when we first started working together as a team with the students to help us gain a student perspective. We implemented many of their suggestions. In addition to including teachers on our leadership team, she has also been the point person at our school for our NYU teacher residency program. She has helped select the mentor teachers that we have chosen each year for the 2 years that we've been participating, and has been able to support not only our veteran teachers, but also works very closely with our pre-service candidates. Most recently, she has been a key facilitator in our Ready for Rigor PLC with the Bar Foundation. She has been collaborating with 3 of our building teachers who are participating, and they will be playing a key role as we move our school forward in our journey to become more culturally responsive. I cannot say enough, and y'all know I can talk, and that was cut down. I cannot say enough about how amazing Dana is, and any of you that know her know that I'm not at all stretching the truth. I am absolutely honored to have her as a partner in this crazy journey, and we are on our way to our platinum ribbon, because blue just ain't good enough. We're just better get the rest of this time with her. So thank you for letting me know.
So I only have 1 page, and I would like to say thank you. Thank you so much. I would like to thank Dr. Chrissy Zalita for nominating me for this award. Not only for nominating me for this award, but honestly seeing something in me that I didn't even see in myself when she hired me for this position 4 years ago. Additionally, I would like to thank the superintendent, Kevin Walston, along with the entire cabinet and the Board of Education for constantly supporting me every single day in this role as assistant principal and as an educator in the Danbury public school system. I would be remiss if I did not thank my family for always standing by my side, even when I decided to add a nonprofit to my long list of things that I'm already doing in my daily basis. And lastly, but most importantly, not least, I would like to thank the Rogers Park community. Honestly, while this award has my name on it, it is a representation of their hard work and dedication to our students every single day. The park, also known as Rogers to our students, is a special place where we make dreams happen and all ideas, even Christy's ideas, come to fruition as long as it's in support of our students. And so this award is really more for our school than it is for myself. I consider myself privileged to work at Rogers Park Middle School, considered myself honored to be a member of the Danbury Public School community, and I'm humbled to have been given this award. So thank you.
So Ms. Dana Perez, soon to be Dr. Perez, before we ask you to step up again to take a picture, on behalf of the cabinet and the Danbury school community, I want to thank you for your service and your commitment to our students, to our staff, and our families. We didn't need an outside group to come in and tell us how wonderful you are, but I am so happy to see that you've been honored with this award. Thank you so much. So we're going to come over there and take a picture with you. All right.
The highlight of your night.
Oh, we need some more with the camera. next award. And this person has been before us once before on behalf of the Danbury music community. But Danbury has been named recipient of the Danbury Public Schools Music Education Program, honored with Best Communities for Music Education designation from the NAM Foundation. And the NAM Foundation is the National Association of Music Merchants. And Dr. Casimiro is going to say a couple of words about Jill before we get started.
Good evening. So we do want to congratulate you, Jill, on now this is a multiple years in a row winning the Best Communities in Music Education with the NAM Foundation. I would just want to tell everybody a little bit about some of the work that Jill does in the background. Jill has been relentlessly pursuing grants. How many years now? One? Probably at I was going to say 5 or 6 years now. And what that grant does is it puts instruments into the hands of our students who otherwise would not be able to afford instruments and or lessons. And so over the last 5 or 6 years, the amount of programming that has built up around and in our schools as a result of Jill's efforts has been incredible. And so you see any of our programming, or sometimes we do a spotlight to your schools, you'll see tons of musical programming, kids playing instruments, and in general, bolstered music, rich music programs that has resulted as a testament to her leadership and the work that she's done with her team. So we can't thank you enough. It's no shock as to why you received an award now multiple years in a row, but VH1 Save the Music has been a partner with us, but Jill's constant pursuit of the grants and putting all the pieces in place to make this happen is one of the reasons why we've been awarded 2 years in a row. So congratulations, Jill.
You'll be impressed, Mr. Wilson. I only get half a page. So, thank you so much. I truly believe this is a testament not only to us as a school district and the community, but also to our teachers and our students. This award this year in the survey that we took was really based around resilience and perseverance. I think we can all agree that every educator here and across the country, that's exactly what we've been doing. So again, I can't speak highly enough about our staff and the hard work that they put in. We finally made some great lists. Number-wise, we are one of 730 districts nationwide to receive this, and we are 27 out of 169 in Connecticut. We are one of 27 school districts in Connecticut to receive this as well. The survey is based on our student demographics, our facilities, classroom availabilities, graduation requirements, budgeting, etc. And with this and with the support of the NAM Foundation, who in turn supports Save the Music Foundation and Little Kids Rock and Spread Music Now and the folks that were kind enough to work with us, we've been able to increase our enrollment at the instrumental level to about 1,250 students this year, coming off of an interesting couple of years. So that's a lot of little ones and a lot of noise. Thank you, parents, happening in your homes. So thank you very much for supporting what we do and for helping us keep trucking along. And on Saturday, May 21st, please join us for our Hooray Code Festival that we are finally able to do. Just wonderful to open the doors back up everywhere and do things in our community. It's going to be from 11 to 4 at Brockton Middle School. Here we're going to have some great ice cream as well. And we have a lot of performances. We have almost all of our elementary schools are combining for choir and band, and the art department will be there, and lots of community members. So please come join us. And thank you. Thank you very much for supporting. That's a good thing.
Jill, thanks again for promoting CODA event on May 21st. Thank you so much. Last but not least, an opportunity to recognize the students and the students who led them to this amazing participation statewide. Mr. Dan Donovan has a couple of words for us with the teacher and the students who have won some big-time serious awards at the state level. Thanks, Mr. Donovan.
Thank you. If you recall, it was probably about 2 months ago, I stood in front of you at the Black Box and talked about a Voice for Change project that came out from the state that Kevin introduced to us. It involved students making projects that they felt would help Danbury High School. So out of that, we got basically 13 projects. We did an all-school voting on the projects, and the one that won the most amount of votes, and getting Danbury High School students to sometimes do things is a little challenging maybe, but we had over 2,400 votes, which is a huge number for us, for our winning project, which was the change out of the water fountains. All the students felt that changing from traditional water fountains to the bottle fillers are both responsible and a cleaner way to do things. And Nancy, come on up. Yeah. Oh, that was Liam. Sorry, wrong group. Anyway, that's why I needed that. So Liam, come on up. They won the student vote part of this, their project, and they're going to talk to you a little bit about the process. You're just not shaking hands, act like you can speak your good voice. What'd you do?
So we presented a video to the classmates, and we created an example of how long it takes to get water at DHS. And what I did was we came up with the idea of what we did was come up with the idea of we are searching for water. We just come out of the weight room, and we have to go through the desert. We have to go through mountains, and we have to go through a river to get to the water fountain. And then that water fountain is not working. And that's how we get in the video, and we asked for your vote.
And it was a little bit confusing to our students at the high school because we were in probably like 4 different videos. I just cameoed in every single video. All the students made the different videos, and I was like, which one is he doing? Which one it was, but they did an excellent job in putting it out there, and the students all voted for it, and that was the one that won the most. As equally proud of is the commissioner herself had 5 awards that she gave out statewide, just 5 of them, and we were lucky enough to have another group win one of those awards. And what the commissioner said when we had our little watch party in the auditorium when they did this kind of live on YouTube was that this was the only one out of all of them that took the staff into account. Students felt they had to give back to our staff at Danbury High School, which was redoing the teacher workroom. The teacher workroom at Danbury High School is made up of furniture that we acquire from different places. Any business that's going out calls us, and we run over there with a truck, grab what we can, and come back. So they're going to give us, each one of these is going to win $20,000 that we can use to spend. So I'm going to invite Liana, where are you? Nancy, come on up. And Matt, yeah, come on, Matt, you're up here too. Talk a little bit about your project. Come on over.
So we made a video and a poster around the school. Our video had a couple of teacher interviews. They spoke about what they thought was needed in the break room, such as new tables, new chairs, like those portable charging stations. They thought that having these new appliances could also run the classroom and help them just be more prepared for the day, being able to when they leave their house, they don't have to worry about the computer being charged all the time. If they have an accident or something, just charge it in the room. Just have things on hand that makes the day easier for them.
You good? See, they thought they were done. Like, hey, we won. We're done. Nope. Now they got to spend time with me to go spend money. So once we get that money, we're going to be spending it around our school, which is, one of those things that Danbury High School is an older building, and little things like that just go a long way. So we really want them, and I'm very thankful for what they did. Now, the entire leader of this whole entire thing is not Kevin, it's not me, it's Miss Heather Lorenz. Come on up here, Miss Lorenz. She was as I told you from the beginning when I came up here, email from Kevin saying, hey, let's try this. Email from Miss Lorenz saying, why aren't we trying this? And I said, okay, let's do it. And since that point, she's taken control over this, organizing everything, from the posters to the videos. Mr. Miller was instrumental in putting those videos together as well for all of us. And putting that all together, putting out the student announcements so they could have a vote. Like I said, all the students went into Flex on a Monday and voted for it, and it was great. But you can speak about how this process went, and thank you for everything you do.
I prepared everything that he said before, so now I'm running on the fly again. I'm surprised once again. The classroom part. So essentially, and I spoke to the board once before this, essentially, I took the project and I scaffolded it so that our students could write public policy. I mean, that's essentially what our students did. They range from seniors to sophomores that you see in this class, in my class. A lot of seniors and juniors, but some sophomores also. And they ran with it. I mean, I didn't have to, I brainstormed with them, I helped guide them here and there, definitely the guide on the side. But they were the ones that did everything. And I mean, when Mr. Donovan mentioned the campaign video that Liam and Chap made, I am telling you, like, a president could have run this video. It was them swimming through the ocean, climbing Mount Everest, walking through the desert till they finally got to the water station. Because as of right now, we have 4 water stations in a building of 3,300 students. 3,400 students. Sorry, it's climbing every day. And it was, and it spoke to the students. The students saw the issue. They saw the issue that the students were experiencing, and then the students saw themselves in the video that they made, which just shows you that you can put on a great campaign and you can garner the votes and win. And they both had a vision for that from the beginning, and it was really impressive. In addition, this group, maybe my most humble group, and yet they won the commissioner's award. All along they said, we know we got no chance. Students aren't going to vote for us. But, we believe in this. We believe that you guys deserve better, meaning us, the teachers. And let me tell you, the teachers, they are ecstatic about the fact that they won the commissioner's award. So, once again, I want to thank Superintendent Walston and Mr. Donovan. Thank you for this opportunity. Not just for myself, because I gained a lot from it, but for my kids. To give them the opportunity to rise up as leaders in our community and take action and know that their action matters is maybe the most powerful thing we can give them as students. Yeah, I just did that on the line. But no, I really believe that, like, in my heart. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And this guy, every single question that the kids had, he made himself available by email 24/7. So thank you. Anyway,
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
So Principal Donovan, Ms. Lorenz, and students at Danbury High School, just want you to know, you've done an amazing job representing this school district, our community. I had the pleasure of bragging about you about 3 weeks ago, a month ago, when the commissioner came to visit Danbury High School. I reminded her that we are her favorite school, and quite frankly, you are the reason why. So I just want to thank you. Please don't move. While you're standing there, I think I see some parents in the background. So I want to thank you for being here this evening and blessing us with your children. But 2, I want you to stand there so I can take a picture with you to send a picture to the commissioner to remind her why Danbury Public Schools is her favorite district in the state of Connecticut. So thank you and congratulations to all of you.
it's all about.
Moving on.
Rachel, just push it a little bit more. Yeah, perfect. And everybody, start at 45 degrees. I've done this before. What is it? Pretty cool. Great, thank you. Yes.
Ms. Lorenz, you're almost done. Can you tell us where we can find these videos?
This man right here. I think has the control.
I can send you a link to that.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And
I'll make sure we have them available on the website and for the board to view as well.
I did forget to mention, there was one thing I forgot to mention. There were almost 55 students that did very happy to participate, which was the largest number in this case, which is again, why the commissioner loves Danbury #1.
Absolutely.
Right? Hopefully, maybe even more next year, if she does it again, which I hope.
I hope she does.
I hope so too.
Agreed.
Anyhow,
Thank
thank
you
you so
Thank
much.
you. Have a good night. Okay. All right, Board Chair Chaleski, that is it for recognitions this evening.
There's no one signed up for public participation. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak? Anyone in the audience who would like to speak? There's nobody left. I know. Just saying, I'll say one last time, anyone in the audience like to speak?
There's no one here.
Going
Yeah, there's no
three
audience.
times. Okay. Moving on. Consent calendar. Bridget, would you mind reading that motion, please? Here, I'll toss this.
Motion that the Board of Education approve the items on the consent calendar, exhibits 22-through 53 and 22-5 as recommended.
Second.
Seconded by Kate. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Moving on to staff representatives. They all left too. Okay.
I don't blame them. I take it personally.
Our student representatives, would you like to come up? There they are. Yes, thank you.
Thank God you guys stayed.
Good evening, Board of Ed members, Cabinet, and community members. Thank you for allowing me to represent and speak on behalf of the Alternative Center for Excellence. On May 6th, ACE will administer its humanities benchmarking. The day is a whole school event that will see students participate in grade level benchmarks to assess argumentative writing skills during a 3-hour session and is coordinated by the ACE Humanities Department. ACE will be hosting prospective DHS students from May 2nd to the 13th. 20 DHS students will be coming for a 1-day visit to experience our program. Interviews with prospective students and their families will take place in June. On Saturday, May 14th, from 1 to 4 p.m., ACE will be hosting a barbecue to celebrate our founder, Joe Heather. The day will also include activities for the kids, as well as time for alumni and staff to share stories and special memories related to Joe and the ACE experience. John can speak more about that later today. On Monday, May 2nd, DJ Jimenez and Melissa Lasky will be a part of the Welcoming School walkthrough with 2 ACE students and 2 ACE parents.
On May 19th, ACE will host its annual Wellness Day. Presenters will be coming to ACE to meet with students to discuss various careers and healthy living lifestyles. Each student will select 4 presenters to attend during the morning at ACE. Topics will include culinary, yoga, boxing, art therapy, drum circles, healthy relationships, and mindfulness. After lunch on May 19th, the top floor of ACE will open for staff and students to participate in our school-wide Renaissance Fair. This fair is organized by humanities students Joanne Tolles, Melissa Lasky, Danielle Esposito, Kyle Tricola, Ashley Honaker, and Alyssa Wojtek. Thank you, staff and students. Lastly, ACE would like to publicly recognize the following student award winners. Andre De Leon for earning the Old Timers Association Scholarship, Raza Diaz-Lawrence for earning the March Student of the Month, Tarjay Stevenson for earning the Ace of Spades Award for hard work, Jacob Miner for earning the Ace of Hearts for his care and nature. Thank you for allowing us to share what's going on with our ACE family down on 26 Locust Avenue. Stay safe and remain ACE strong, everyone.
Thank you so much. Board members, any questions for our students? No? Thank you again very much. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, A Strong.
Action item A, Mr. Russo, would you read that motion?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that the board accept the financial report for March 2022, Exhibit 22-55 on page 15.
Second.
Seconded by Joe De Silva. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? One abstention. Motion still carries. That brings us to the superintendent's report.
Thank you for this opportunity. I'd like to start out with, we have a guest in the audience this evening, another one of our superstar principals in the audience, and this is Principal John Weber. John, a couple of months ago, committed to coming in and following up and providing some more details about Joe Pepin Day at ACE. And John, you have the mic, and thank you for joining us this evening.
Sure, thanks for having me. It was impressive seeing the DHS students and Dana, and I was whispering to the two ACE reps when Jill came up. I said, that's Jill, that's the reason why you have instruments at ACE in Couch and Bowles music class. So they didn't realize, they didn't put two and two together, but they need to know that, so thank you, Jill. So everybody here, I'm pretty sure, knows Joe, knew Joe, probably in various capacities, because if you had to talk about the different organizations Joe was involved with, it'd be much easier to say like which ones he wasn't involved with, because it was like 3 in Danbury, and he was involved in every other organization in Danbury. But Joe was the founding member, founding father of ACE in 1977, and I was asked by the News Times, what did Joe give to ACE? I'm like, Joe was ACE. I mean, there wouldn't be an ACE without Joe, because it was pretty cutting edge in the mid '70s to come up and work and create an alternative program. And it's evolved over the years, but I think the one thing that a lot of the staff do is we kind of have this question in our head when you're working with each other, when you're working with students or with families or community. It's like, this is how Joe would have done it. Would Joe have done it this way? Would he have said this thing? And that's kind of how I've tried to operate. So what we thought we would do last year was do an in-house Joe Pepin celebration. Joe's birthday is May 16th. And so last year we did more of an in-house thing where we had a bulletin board, we had quotes, we had students writing letters to Joe, who students now didn't know who Joe was. So you have to do a lot of building the foundation of ACE. And so Joe passed, this winter, late winter, and so it kind of rekindled the idea that we really need to teach the kids now who Joe was and why Joe believed the things that he believed. So we've been working on things like collecting photos, and in the main hallway there's an ACE timeline now that goes from 1977 up to current, and the ACE students are trying to decipher which photos go from which years based on different records we have and graduation lists and talking to teachers about which kids are which kids and what years. So it's going to be pretty neat by the time May 14th rolls around. So on May 14th, we're going to have a barbecue down in Ace. It's on Facebook now. It's 1 to 4. It's going to be outside. I've got a tent coming. Not going to cost any money. I got a bouncy house coming for kids. I want alumni to bring kids. I want the alumni to meet with each other, to meet with former staff, with current staff. I'll be cooking burgers and dogs on there. Everybody who's sitting here is welcome to come down, no cost. I just talked to Danny Lombardo over at Vision yesterday, so we're making these kind of like Joe Pepin jerseys that we'll be selling there. It kind of will look like the Yankees t-shirts that have I say Yankees, I'm sure every team has it. I'm a little biased. That has the name of the player on the back with the number, and then the number underneath the name Pepin will be 77. So that's the year A started, and that's kind of the idea for that. But I'm open if there are questions anybody wants to ask about the day, feel free.
Any questions from board members?
I'm just wondering, John, if you are in need of any donations of any kind for the barbecue or for any other parts of this.
Donations are always free. Side dishes are wonderful.
How about dessert?
Desserts, even better. Thanks.
Just, yeah, let me know. I'll donate the ice cream for you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, Gladys.
If you can attend the affair on the 14th, will you be able to get a T-shirt?
Absolutely. So the thought was when I talked to Danny, we're going to have 50 on sale the day of. Then we can sell them because he'll have already created the shirt. We can just have him print up a new batch.
Okay.
So absolutely.
Thank you.
And Joe's family is involved too. We have family members of Joe who are coming up from North Carolina just for the day. Joe's daughter Dot spoke at the services and did a really nice job of talking about the connection between Joe and Ace and Joe's family. So we'll have the PA set up outside. We'll have people be able to share. We're gonna have different tables set up too because, unfortunately, Joe wasn't the only person that we lost, excuse me, at Ace this winter and over the course of several years. So we want to have a memorial table where people can come up and they can write memories about other Ace family members that we've lost. And so we'll have a couple of different tables set up for things like that, along with, the fun activities. Joe's a big volleyball guy, so we'll have volleyball games going on and, different face painting for kids, bouncy house for kids and stuff like that. So we'll kind of try to have a little bit of everything in honor of Joe because that's what Joe would have done. Yes, Karen.
John, I'll just, if you don't mind, I'd like to add, Joe Pepin, I did not have an opportunity to meet him. I'm certainly looking forward to meeting his family and his former students. I'm thinking he'd be very proud of how that school has developed over the years, number one. But two, I'm thinking he'd be particularly proud of the principal who's leading that building right now. So we want to thank you for your service to our students and our school community. Thank you, Joe. Many of you know the staff at Ace, but they go above and beyond. Like the day never really ends. I get texts from teachers who are at the ER with a kid because the parent couldn't be there. The staff is amazing. So it makes it a lot easier when you're working with people like that.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, John. We'll see you on the 14th.
Thank you.
All right. And for the next item on the superintendent's report, superintendent goal update, goal 3, fiscal responsibility, planning for growth, talent acquisition. This one is specifically about planning for growth. And now that we have the microphone fired up, Mr. John Spang is going to speak to the update.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me okay? Better? So goal 3 is the fiscal responsibility goal, and we had a brief update earlier in the fall. We've continued to make progress in that area. So a couple of the things, the overarching goal was to make the budget process efficient, transparent, and equitable to distribution of resources. For that, the budget process this year was revamped. It's more efficient now. Principals entered their budgets online directly from their offices. And our resources, many have been shifted from Beaver Brook into the schools and into the locations for the principals. But they were distributed, you might remember, on an equitable basis, a per pupil basis. You can find that, you'll remember, in our budget book. It's on pages 24 and 25. We gave same amount per pupil to each of the elementary schools, a different amount per pupil, but the same to each of the 3 middle schools, and a slightly higher amount to our high school per pupil. A couple other things, we have taken a close look at our grants and have aligned those in terms of the positions that are in grants versus the general budget, and it's much more coherent now than it has been. And along with our budget process, the principals next year, what they actually started this year, can make their purchase requests online by putting a requisition on. The full process goes digitally, and it's much faster. A lot of the paperwork has been eliminated as well, so the softwares work great. A couple other areas of the goal, the multi-year budget, remember seeing that for the first time last year. We repeated that again this year and discussed that with the ad hoc committee of the City Council on Education. As we did, I sensed there was a consensus that with some of the fiscal challenges coming up, everyone agreed we need to carefully plan each year as we go forward. There's a piece in the goal about engaging with city officials to evaluate our financial and school facility needs. Certainly the agreement to purchase the Carter's property does that. We're very excited. Next month there'll be a referendum vote on bonding for that purchase. That's encouraging. And in the meantime, we also meet with the mayor's office and the city finance director on a weekly basis, every Tuesday afternoon, to talk about the current budget and the current budget ops. So we're having regular communications with them. And then finally, our administrative reorganization is complete, meaning the positions are filled now. People are working in place, and I think we're very poised to meet the challenges that lie ahead with the reorganization and the talent that we've been able to put in those positions. That's the update.
Thank you, John. I will just add to that. I had an opportunity to join the mayor's office yesterday as part of a press conference in Hartford. The press conference was on behalf of House Bill 5283. This bill is an effort to accelerate the ECS grant funding. This would bring the necessary funding to address the achievement gap challenges that we've had, most importantly address the financial cliff that we've been talking about these last couple of years as a recipient of the American Relief Fund funds. I'm cautiously optimistic. I feel like there is significant momentum to support the acceleration of the ECS funding. I certainly don't have the crystal ball to tell you that this is definitely coming, but I can tell you there was significant advocacy yesterday at the press conference. There was representation from CAPS, some of the larger urban districts, Waterbury, New Haven, Danbury, New Britain, the mayor from Hartford was there, advocating for the acceleration of the grant. There was a coalition of clergy from the state of Connecticut, students advocating for acceleration of the funding. And so I feel like in many ways the voices in Danbury were heard yesterday at the Capitol, and hopefully the governor will hear them soon as well. I would also just like to take this opportunity to thank the mayor's office for their partnership in this work and in the effort to try to push for the acceleration in funding, but also thank our legislative partners who have kind of co-sponsored this bill in an effort to accelerate the funding. So in the meantime, stay tuned. I'm hoping to hear more in the next week or two, and hopefully we'll have some good news to share. So I just wanted to provide that update for the board as well. And last but not least, in terms of updates, just wanted to remind the board the last page of our agenda under future meetings and dates to remember. We have a meeting tomorrow evening, a board workshop with Dr. John Ramos from the Partners of Educational Leadership to revisit our strategic plan, talk about the superintendent goals, board goals, and how the three can complement each other to help to continue to move the district forward. So just so you know, there will be food and a light dinner and refreshments will be served. So if you don't have an opportunity to get home first, there will be some food and dinner provided. And of course, the meeting will be opened up to the public. So just end on that note. Certainly if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer.
So,
Thank you.
question, if I can have an extra, is there an extra copy of that budget book laying around that I could?
Yes, we can get you. Worst case scenario, you can have mine.
I think you're gonna need
I have it
yours.
on
Yeah.
mine. Yes.
Any other questions for our superintendent? Moving along, board chairperson's report, I don't have much, but there is an updated committee list hopefully at your place. Just with our several vacancies there that just fill the open slots there. And so those will be, they're already on the website, they'll be in the minutes for this meeting as well.
Excuse me, Madam Chair, can I just punctuate one thing about the committee
Oh, sure,
lists?
yes.
Just kind of in coming attractions, we are gonna be running multiple administrator interview panels in the coming month or so. So we probably will take just about everybody that's listed on this in groups of 2. So just a heads up, and we'll reach out from my office to go ahead and schedule those of you who have volunteered for those committees for the interview panels. And also with respect to negotiations, the teachers' negotiations will start this summer. It would be nice to have one more representative from the Board of Ed on that committee. And there will be 2 non-teaching or exempt, non-certified negotiating teams running this summer, spring, summer, so imminently. And that will be for custodians and for paras and tutors. So if I could have a total of 4 people for the non-certified committees, that would be great as well.
Great. If anyone's interested in that, please either reach out to me or to reach out to Kim. Oh, I'm sorry. I've kind of got some feedback on this. Is this better? Sorry. So we're looking for, we have a few names for negotiations over the summer. It looks like we need about 3 more.
Yes.
So if anyone's available over the summer, we have teachers coming up, paras, and custodians we have to do. And Kim, I don't know if you have like a general time frame for each of those, but.
Well, both of the non-certified contracts expire on July 1, so we try to get those, ratified, done, kind of at least early fall if we can, to have the payments retro if there are any. So that's one that I would like to start kind of imminently, but we'll probably go through the fall. Both of them, I'm optimistic won't be particularly long, probably 3 or 4 sessions.
Okay. Great. Anything else on the committee lists? And again, the committee list has been updated to include our newest board members. It's been updated on the website, and it'll be in the minutes for this meeting.
Two of my favorite committees. So I will need that book. As soon as possible.
And one other thing, we were invited to the Parent C, that's the Parent Supporting Educational Excellence graduation, which is happening on next Tuesday, May 3rd at 6 p.m. at Hatters Park. If you'd all like to attend, they'd love to have some board members there. They'll be providing dinner and just celebrating their graduation from that course. I don't know how long of a course that is, but that's at 6 p.m. It's Parent Supporting Educational Excellence.
What day is that?
That is a Tuesday. Tuesday, May 3rd at 6 p.m. at Hatters Park.
Excuse me, is the invitation coming to the board members or just through the chair?
Just through the chair. I can forward the email to you from Dr. Mead if you'd like.
I can ask Dr. Mead to send it to the entire board.
And that's all that I have. Are there any other board communications, comments, questions?
Quick question. June 15th for high school graduation, correct?
Correct.
What about the middle school and ACE?
They usually sing it up
Oh, yeah.
there.
Looking at my calendar right now, I believe.
Oh, so they're
The
picked.
middle
They're picked
school.
already.
So we're holding Tuesday, June 14th for the ACE graduation. It's not confirmed yet.
Okay.
We're holding Monday the 13th for the middle school graduations, plural, all three. Last year, and we're still going back and forth, we're going to do the same exact thing. Last year, we had all the graduations at Danbury High School on the football field for purpose of social distancing.
Right.
And so we're trying to finalize that now, assessing the cost, et cetera, and see if it's feasible to continue to do it at the football field. If not, we'll have them back at the middle schools. We should have that answer by next week.
Well, it used to be in the high school, all three middle schools inside the auditorium, right? That one. Okay, so in the field, yeah, it might be. And now for the main high school graduation, it's open.
Question.
I think it's going to be one day, not 2 days.
Yes,
and there's
one
gonna be
day, back to one day.
No
outside.
tickets, bring everybody type of thing.
I'm not sure how we've handled the ticket situation before. I don't remember.
I think was there ever a amount of tickets, or maybe I'm thinking something else?
Last year was 2 sessions.
Yes,
Oh,
last
2
year,
sessions.
Yeah, the stands really weren't full, 'cause it was only half.
That's right.
Yeah, okay.
But I don't know if there was a limitation on the number of tickets before.
We didn't have to get
Yeah, that's what I thought, yeah.
That
They
was
had
early
year we had to get.
Yeah, one of the parents had mentioned that they might be doing tickets, so I wanted to clear it up.
Thank you.
Perfect.
So we can sit anywhere, we don't have to sit down.
Maybe 7 days.
You're gonna be front and center.
You'll be down at the front, handing out the ball.
Cold water.
Handing out folders.
110. You'll be top.
Bring chocolate. It's great. It's a great day.
That is an awesome thing.
Hunt for shade.
Are there any other board, Kate, sorry.
Just, Rachel, the curriculum meeting on the 9th, I will be there on coaching baseball.
Okay.
I'll email just
Thank
while I
you.
was thinking of it.
Yep.
I just want to bring up a couple things. John, thank you for the summary of what was going on with both the budget and with the referendum. As far as the budget is concerned, I just want to publicly thank the folks that came out both to the April meeting where the budget was introduced, as well as the public hearing where we had a lot of support for fully funding the education budget that the board had approved. We have one more opportunity, and that's the May meeting. It's May 3rd at 7:30 in City Council Chambers on the 3rd floor. There'll be a public participation section at the beginning of that, and if you are there, you can speak out in support of the schools and fully funding the budget. So just want to make sure folks are aware of that. And then the other thing is that this referendum is coming up.
It's going to require 15% of Danbury voters to go to the polls in order for this referendum to be successfully passed. So I would encourage everybody, that you make a note of that referendum date. It's June 7th. You're going to be at your typical polling locations, which will be open from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. And again, it's really important that we get that vote out, because if we don't get enough people going, then it serves no purpose to us. We're going to lose the opportunity we have right now to secure a location that is great not only for the career academy we're planning, but also potentially future schools, because that's a whole campus area. So to that end, I did want to ask a couple questions, if I could, of Kim. I'm hoping to call a community relations meeting shortly to see what we can do to help facilitate getting information out to the public about the Career Academy and that project, as well as the referendum. And I'm in looking for some guidance from you, I guess, as far as what is appropriate. I know that we cannot use public funds, in support of, a particular vote, but we can put information out there about the project and about the referendum. So I guess I'm looking for some guidance from you about what would be appropriate here.
So I think we shared with you, there's some really good, there's a piece of paper that comes from the State Election Commission, as well as some narrative from, we often rely on Attorney Mooney's book to give us some guidance. And I think you've got your finger on exactly what I would be most concerned about, just as counsel to the board, which is the expenditure of funds in ways that sometimes you don't think about. Like, it may be, sending a flyer home in a backpack, or it might be paying for coffee or bagels or refreshments at an event. So those kinds of things where there would be any public funds spent cannot be spent in the interest of advancing the purposes of the referendum, so advocating one way or the other. But short of that, you are all elected representatives who are out, advocating for the best possible outcomes that may include facilities or acquiring facilities. And so it's something that obviously as elected officials, you're out there advocating for the passage, but I think what the guidance tells us is to use care about using funds or things that you may not think of as being funds dedicated to such a purpose.
Okay. So just a couple of quick questions then. When I read that material, what I understood is that we could send home a notice with students, for example, that specified the date of the referendum and where, what the referendum is. So I hope that might be something we could coordinate. But also in terms of putting together some informational sessions, if it's not being hosted by the administration or the board specifically, can administration and board members still participate in those conversations? And, is the line the same if they're just there, in their personal capacity?
Yeah. I think it depends. I think we get into the kind of slippery slope area. I think from my perspective, as long as you are drawing that bright line about funding, that I'm less concerned about that. I think, when you go to a public forum in a location that may be a board building, I think that's okay. But again, I think, providing anything on which you are spending funds in addition is where I would draw the line. So certainly your personal opinion, even your opinion as an advocate for your district or from your constituents is certainly appropriate. And as you pointed out, the informational piece about here's where you can go to vote, here's what the issues are, here's what the ballot will look like, those things are all appropriate because you're sharing information about the process, but you're not advocating for passage or objecting to the passage of the referendum.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
And as I read the same guidance that Kim had shared, I think I need further clarification because my understanding is we can't use public funds to even share that information. So I'm not confident we can make copies and use public funds to push out the information. So I'd like the clarification on something as mundane as that before we commit to doing that. So I just want to make that statement, right?
So can the people of the PT, we used to do it through PTOs, like can the principal get it to the PTO to share information? Not send stuff back in backpacks, but send it to the PTO to email us, and then they could go ahead and advocate for it through the PTO. or citywide, or each individual school?
So I'm smiling, Ralph, as I'm hearing your question. Some of the guys that came in said there's actually a line in there about PTOs that actually can't leverage the third party. Example, PTO. So I just feel like we just need some clarification on these things and sit down with
Yeah, I
Kim
don't
and
know if
just
that's-
make sure.
Yeah, it occurs to me as you're talking, it probably makes sense for us to attach those couple of pieces that I shared with the both of you, maybe for circulation to the whole group so that they can take a look. Because I think it's one of those topics that it's just good to have it in your head, you know, it's good to kind of review the guidance.
PTO not being a PTA, being distinct from a PTA, PTAs can lobby because they're a private corporation. PTOs are part of our schools, right? But here's another thought. Email's free, so there's no expenditure of public funds if we're sending an email.
There is some law around emails too,
There
using
is a
our
notice.
system. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I'd be really careful about if you're going to an event, spending even your own money. Public money is what Kim just said. Spending your own money, like if you brought coffee and donuts to an event, arguably it's an expenditure in favor of a referenda question, and it may need to be reported to SEEC as an expenditure of funds in support of a ballot question or referenda. So just be really careful about even spending your own money.
Yeah, I think there are people who make their whole careers on these kinds of
Like
expenses.
de minimis expenditure, like if you brought coffee and donuts, probably may not be a reportable expense, but
It said up
there's
to
gonna be a
$1,000.
number at which SEEC is going to be interested in how much we're spending, even as individuals.
It said on the individual level, you could spend up to $1,000
There you go,
without reporting.
but keep your receipts. Because even when you don't have a reporting requirement, SEEC does require you to keep your receipts in case they ever want to audit.
So the school can't tell anybody to go out and vote for something that helps the school?
No, but we can.
Right, no, you can't send it out and
Can't use the school app.
I agree, that's what I'm talking about.
Could I ask a question? Sure. So what is our expectation that the city will be pushing this forward? I assume there'll be some sort of city discussion because it is a referendum. So will the city be creating simple social media pieces that we can?
I'm not sure the city of Danbury can expend public funds in favor of a referendum question either.
Well, they have to allow the voters to know that there's a referendum.
Right.
So there'll be some piece that's
They'll
going out.
advise that there is a
Right.
referendum for sure, but I don't think the city of Danbury can advocate one way or the other either.
Well, I'm not looking for advocacy. I'm just looking for how much time and effort they will possibly be expanding, coordinated with our time and effort, so that we can replicate and replicate and replicate.
So Bridget, I can tell you, the city did reach out to my office to schedule some type of strategic meeting on how to approach this. I will be at that meeting with Kim so that we can make sure we have our council if necessary. The city will have their council at the meeting so that we can just talk about logistically what those next steps will be. But today's Wednesday. The city reached out to me over the break, and then we talked about it again on Monday afternoon, or Tuesday yesterday when I was in Hartford. So we're looking to schedule something in the next day or two, so that we can have some type of plan around that very question.
Great, that's awesome, thank you. Good question.
Madam Chair.
Can we?
Terry, go ahead.
Thank you. Can we utilize those electronic boards that we have at the high school and City Hall? Can we use those to advocate for a referendum, or just, you have to state just the dates and time, location?
I would say the electronic boards could only state the basic information that there is a referendum on such and such a date.
Date, time, and subject or something.
And if allowable, we can ask the high school to do the same. I don't know if it's allowable yet, but we can find out.
If you go around and see like the signs that say vote yes on number whatever,
Yeah.
blah, 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 where do they come from? Vote yes on Proposition 6. Where's that?
It's a bet.
No, there's not.
In towns with referendum, my guess is they come from political parties. My guess is their town committees have them.
Vote for,
That's my guess.
Just getting back in the swing of things.
I want to use the gavel, but so Mr. Russo, did you have something?
I defer to Mrs. Brazil.
Okay. Joe, did you have something else? Okay, are we all set on that? Ms. Cooper?
Tomorrow we're having a workshop, and I know that the Superintendent Evaluation Committee has met, and I'm hoping after we meet tomorrow, I would like to set up a Superintendent Evaluation Committee before the next board meeting, if it's okay with the chair. Okay, I don't have no date, but after tomorrow meeting, I don't want to postpone this or, have some type of direction as to where we need to move as a committee. Because we did submit, the committee did submit 6 board goals. And we can look at those goals and tomorrow also look at the superintendent goals and move forward. Okay?
Yep.
Is that okay?
That
Thank
works.
you.
You're running out of dates though before
Yes.
next meeting,
Yes.
so it's good to
So we
take.
might be able to do it maybe an hour before the regular meeting.
Okay, yeah.
Or,
Yeah, we'll work it
I'll
out.
work with you so we
Okay,
can get started.
sounds good. Any other board comments, updates, questions?
What time is the meeting tomorrow?
Tomorrow's at 6 o'clock. And there will be refreshments, so come hungry. Fruit, no veggies this time. Veggies were too bad. You won't be. Okay, with that, a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Kate. Seconded by Al. All those in favor? Aye.